Hello guys. Most of us think that a single gene controls a single characteristic. However, oftentimes a single gene can have multiple phenotypic effects in an organism. In this video, we are going to talk about this phenomenon called pleiotropy. We are also going to talk about lethal alleles and see how these different gene interaction cause a deviation in the expected Mendelian ratio.
Hi everyone! Today I'm going to explain how mutations in the FBN1 gene demonstrate pleiotropy in individuals suffering from the Marfan syndrome. How can one gene affect your heart, bones, and eyes at the same time? Sounds like a supervillain, right? That is the FBN1 gene, and mutations in this gene causes the Marfan syndrome. Actually, FBN1 gene builds fibrillin 1, a protein that keeps your connective tissues strong. The problem is, connective tissues are not present in just one part of your body, but it's everywhere. So once the FBN1 gene is faulty, it causes your skeleton to stretch out. Your eyes cannot hold the lenses in place, and the aorta in your heart becomes extremely weak. This is what my friends we call pleiotropy. One gene causing multiple effects. So next time you think one gene means one job, think again, as the FBN1 gene proves that even a small change can cause the entire system to shake.
When scientists are using a mouse model to study Marfan syndrome, a homozygous mouse with this syndrome, small m, is crossed with a homozygous normal mouse, big M, and their offspring would obviously, uh, the big M, small m genotype, and their offspring are then crossed with each other, which then produce 11 normal offspring and 23 affected offspring. So in this question, we are going to analyze this result and explain how these ratios deviate from the classic Mendelian inheritance. In this question, we are going to assume that the Marfan syndrome now is a recessive condition. So move on to the next slide. So then, according to Mendelian inheritance, when we have this cross here, we are supposed to have 3 normal offspring and then 1 affected offspring with the ratio of 1 to 2 to 1. But then the observed ratio showed 11 normal offspring and then 23 affected ones, which follows 1/3 and 2/3 ratio instead. So the most likely explanation is because the small m genotype is not viable because they suffer from serious syndromes. So then the small m individuals tend to die. They do not survive and die as an embryo, so they would not appear in the final offspring count. So then the ratio now would be 1/3 big M, and then 2/3 big M small m, which is 11 normal offspring and then 23 affected offspring. And a note here is that the big M small m person do survive, but they experience a mild Marfan syndrome. And the big M individuals are healthy without the symptoms.
Genetic counselor is studying a family in which both parents have Marfan syndrome caused by a dominant mutation in the FBN1 gene. This mutation is pleiotropic, affecting the heart, eyes, and skeleton. While heterozygous individuals survive with symptoms, homozygous individuals with 2 copies of the mutation are not viable and die before birth. If these 2 parents have multiple children, what is the expected genotypic and phenotypic ratio among all conceptions? So in this question, we can clearly see that both the parents have Marfan syndrome and that the Marfan syndrome is caused by dominant mutation. And so we can assume that the parents will have at least one copy of the dominant allele. But the parents will not have two copies as homozygous individuals are not viable and that they die before birth. So the parents here are heterozygous individuals and we can do the cross right now. So we are going to do the cross between heterozygous parents, and this will give us a homozygous dominant, heterozygous, heterozygous and homozygous recessive. And the genotypic ratio in this will be 1 homozygous dominant, 2 heterozygous and 1 homozygous recessive. And for the phenotypic ratio, we can see that the homozygous dominant will be the lethal one and that they will not survive, and 2 heterozygous will have the Marfan syndrome and 1 will not have the Marfan syndrome. And we can also see that in this situation 25% of the children will not survive and the rest 75% will survive. How dominant lethal alleles like this one in Marfan syndrome affect inheritance patterns, and understanding this concept helps genetic counselors to explain recurrence risks to families and the likelihood of various outcomes that could happen during pregnancies.
If one parent has Marfan syndrome FBN1 small f and is a carrier for cystic fibrosis small c big F, and the other parent has the same genotypes as well, what is the potential outcome for the embryo having lethal allele of cystic fibrosis small c small f and mild Marfan syndrome condition FBN1 small f? When we consider the cross between small c big F, and small c big F, the chance of having small c f will be a quarter. When we consider the cross between FBN1 small f and FBN1 small f, the chance of having FBN1 small f would be half. Therefore, the embryo with genotype of FBN1 small f, small c small f will be half times a quarter, which is 1/8. This person would have mild symptoms of Marfan syndrome because of only inheriting one copy of mutated allele small f, but in fact would likely die as an embryo or at young age due to being homozygous recessive for cystic fibrosis small c small f. Given the fact that cystic fibrosis is an autosomal recessive condition caused by when an individual has two copies of mutated gene small c small f, so the CF gene here is a lethal allele.